Welcome back, Lion Golf Academy members and guests, and let me first apologize for being absent the past 2 weeks. I came down with a little bit of sickness, you might hear in my voice, but I'm almost complete and we've got some catching up to do. So today we've got our amateur swing analysis. I put a post out here a couple weeks ago asking you guys and girls if you want to submit your swing. I'll go in and take a look at it, make a quick 5 to 6 minute video on each of these swings and do more regular uploads. But because I've been absent, we're going to combine 2 of them in today's video. Today's submission, we have Nick and Garth. What I saw is 2 great looking swings that we can definitely help show where they have some power leaks and also look at their history. And if you as an amateur are interested in submitting your swings, the link is down below in the description. Just email me a face on and down the line. Give me a quick explanation of what's going on in your golf game, and hopefully I can point out a few things to help you along your journey. And if any point in time, if you do get some education or do like this type of video, hit that like and subscribe. Share with other amateurs out there that wish to get help and knowledge on the golf swings, cause and effect, as your support helps me support those children down in Cape Flat, South Africa to get the gift of golf into their hands. And we also have channel memberships starting at 99 cents, and that money goes straight to those children. But enough of that hoopla. Let's see what we can do to help today's submissions be a little bit better in golf. Okay, so first on the screen we have Garth. Let's watch Garth swing over and over, and without getting into too much detail, Garth is trying to tame an overswing and is also trying to get away from being steep. His misses to the right, which is usually when you are steep, you're going to block it out to the right, or you're going to overcorrect that, and all of a sudden you got the lefts going on there. So what I'm looking for is when I first pick up a video, I'm looking at the overall motion of the swing, I'm looking at footwork, I'm looking at balance, we're looking at ball position, we're looking at how the body moves around that ball position, and we can see a pretty neutral ball position here. We can see that he's trying to work his way around, but I also do see that steepness on the right side of the screen. You can just see it right at the top of his transition. That club works a little bit steeper than he would like, but we're going to look at why this is and how we can pinpoint things based on this setup, based on this starting position, based on the rotation. But overall, a pretty solid looking swing here. I'm not sure how long he's been playing. Let me look at his notes very quickly here. It doesn't say how long he has been playing, and forgive me if you did mention this to me. So the goal of today's video is to pick 1, maybe 2 positions that I want you to work on at home, and hopefully with that we will help you get the golf ball a little bit straighter with missing it less often. Okay, Garth, let's first take a look at where your starting position is based on that golf ball straight up to the sky, and we can see it is sitting slightly on the right side of your setup, and the way that you move into the golf ball and get back to impact with this ball position will maybe explain why you have to make things work. And so what we're going to do is go straight down into impact and take a look at what is going on at impact and how is that ball position shifted more to the right side. You can see that golf ball at impact is almost on your right hip joint. Now the issue with this is if you take a look at where your hands are in relation to your chest, they're doing a really good job of staying connected to the center of their chest. Now essentially, if we back up a few frames here, we can see that the hands are holding onto their angle really nicely. Right about here is where you see that the hands do have to release, and we take a look at the rotation of your body. The rotation kind of stalls out while the hands have to play catch up. Now they're not necessarily playing catch up to your chest. What they're doing is having to release a little bit early because that golf ball has moved a little further back than when you started, and that all comes in the way you drive your weight. So you tend to shift right and shift left, which is not a problem at all, but we have to compensate a little bit with your hands and arms. On the right side of the screen, let's back up, and I know you requested Barney Purple, so let's just go ahead and make that dream a reality. And let's put our Barney Purple spine angle line, and also we're going to put that lower plane line to see how we get back down into impact. Top plane line, this is where your left arm should get to the top if things are textbook, and we all know they're not too textbook in the world of golf, but let's take a look at how you get there, and you do get it there pretty nicely. But what we're going to look at is we're going to shy away from Barney and put a little yellow line right on that back brace line. Now I want you to see what happens as the club drops down in. Your first move on the left side of the screen, we can see you're driving that weight right. Now that's okay. However, when you drive that weight right, you are also retaining the tilt of your shoulders on the left side. So essentially you're carrying that same shoulder tilt as you start that drive. Now when your left shoulder is tilted more than it needs to be, you are going to be a little bit steeper even though your hands are trying to drop down. Now, when they start to be steeper, what we can see is this club shaft now is pretty vertical at the top here. You being an athlete are going to figure out a way to get that club down. Now, a couple of options do happen, and I've seen these two options work. Number one is we stall out, we stop turning, we get a little bit handsy at impact. Number two is you start losing your posture to accommodate that club to try and drop in the slot. So what we'll look at on the right side of the screen is as you drive into the golf ball, you can see right about here, your lower body's pushing up, but what is it doing to the club? Now, when you start standing up, which you are now losing some of this posture, we can see that your new spine tilt is raising up. What this essentially does is help flatten out that club. Now the club head is trying to get slightly flat because you feel it very steep. So this is your last ditch effort to try and get that club somewhere between the slots. And it works out fine. The problem is your misses are very, very extreme. So you get a block and you get a rope hook because of that action. Also, you're probably not delivering the power as effectively as you can. And as a result, once we strike the golf ball, you can see we're still standing up, losing posture. Our turning has stalled out. And now we get those hands to release under. And we can see that your shoulder tilt just past impact. Let's back it up to just past impact here. Your shoulder tilt is about the same as where it started. Now, if you watched a couple of my videos before, we know that the best golfers in the world increase that shoulder tilt anywhere from 15 to I've seen up to 30 degrees to help that club drop in the slot. So that right shoulder tilting down will help get the club in the slot. I don't think it's an issue with your rotation. Your right shoulder cuff looks like it can rotate fine to hold that angle. I just believe that it is a bigger piece of your body. In my opinion, the right shoulder needs to drop down a little bit quicker, and then you can work on your lower body getting the correct distribution of the weight. So what does that mean? Let me clear all this nonsense up and let's go straight to the top of the swing just to help you with some drills that you can look at. Right side of the screen, we can see that shoulder tilt. That shoulder tilt should already start to be working down, so that left shoulder tilt should feel like it's going under you, and what that'll do is it'll help drop the hands quicker. And also, when you drop your right shoulder under, your spine angle starts to tilt back of the target slightly, and that backward tilting will help get that club to be in the slot quicker. Now, to also provide the room so you don't start standing up to accommodate that last ditch effort, you need to put a chair. So I'm going to draw a elementary drawing here. This is a chair, and that's a horrible chair. Let's draw some 3D action here so we can see that that is going to be your chair, and what you're going to feel is the back of the chair. You're going to feel like your butt is on that chair. Now, as you drive through it, you're going to feel like you're pushing the chair this way, and that'll help you drive from the right toe more to the left heel, and that will provide the room for you to stay down in your posture so you can strike down the golf ball and also get your right shoulder tilt more under you. The number one thing you can expect to happen is you might hit this very heavy because your hands are so used to trying to get that last ditch effort with you standing up and get your hands more involved. We also need to put that ball position slightly forward. So if your ball position was 1 or 2 golf balls ahead of where it is, you can see that now your spine angle is going right over that golf ball, and you can carry that angle a little bit longer while your club face is working more under you. And from here, we just focus on trying to stay in that posture a little bit longer so you don't lose a lot of this posture. But overall, you have a great motion. I'm really excited to see the swing. I want you to give this a try. And those of you at home who kind of suffer from the same things, where you have a very steep downswing, I don't mind seeing the hands very high. Yours truly gets the club very high, but I find a way to drop it down in the slot, as you can see on this video. So I know that you can get this done. Get that chair out. Pop it up on the range, get the feeling of pushing your butt into the chair, hold the angle, get the right shoulder down. Don't forget that ball position, though. That ball position, I believe, is where everything started from. So if you don't watch your ball position, you don't watch your GASP, your grip alignment set of posture, pretty soon athletic bodies find a way to hit a golf ball that's anywhere. Hope that helps you. Let's see who's next. All right, next up we have Nicolas. Now Nicolas is a fairly new golfer, picked up the game a couple of years ago. I assume from the COVID shutdown that you picked up a new hobby, so welcome to golf, even if it's 2 years late. 15 handicap, self-taught, never taken a lesson, and wait till you see this swing being self-taught. It is pretty cool to watch because this is probably the help of YouTube and putting things together. Another hands high, rerouting it, nothing wrong with this swing, and I like that walk back, but we're going to watch the swing over and over again just to see what we're looking for. Now remember, when I'm looking at swings, I'm looking at footwork first, I'm looking at balance, I'm looking at rotation, I'm looking at how the golf club moves, I'm looking at that club head to see if it is fairly steady or if there's a lot of rerouting action going on here. So far, it doesn't look like it's off kilter. It looks like it's doing its job. Now, he was not able to get a face on just because the dividers on the range aren't quite set up, so that's okay. We can do what we can do with this down the line. So we're going to try and help you out here, look at some things that I would try and look at if you were a student of mine, and try and get you to strike the golf ball a little bit better with more consistency. But so far, it's pretty impressive. But let's start dissecting this swing and put some funky lines up there, and we're going to look for Barney Purple. Let's get going. Okay, Nick, so what we got here is the yellow line is your spine angle line. That small yellow line is your back brace line. We've got the Barney Purple around your head just to see any head motion, and you got your lower plane line and the upper plane line. Now, keep in mind that this is not a hit or miss. This is just for us to see some cause and effect, to see if you do miss some of these positions, how you work your way around it. But overall, your setup looks pretty good. I'd say definitely the weighting is more toe-based. So whenever I see toe-based students, they are definitely more upright as opposed to heel-based students. So we do see an upright pattern in your golf swing, which is nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of great players that have an upright motion. We take that club back. Let's just take a look at how we stay connected. So we see your arms do want to go out and away while you're establishing some turn. So a couple things that you could think about doing is, number one, if you wanted to get your hands a little bit more connected, if you think about that left shoulder tilting down a little bit sooner, and if we draw this in red, we can connect the shoulders together. We can see how that left shoulder is rocking a little bit higher. So if you wanted to improve your takeaway, make it slightly more connected, you would want to think about that left shoulder staying level to your spine angle. So that left shoulder should be a little bit lower, the top of your left shoulder. That can help you out. But again, this is a slippery slope because your swing is basically formed around that initial takeaway. And if you get your left shoulder a little bit lower, you might destroy some of your compensatory motions. This is a decision you have to make. I'm just looking at it from a cause and effect point. Now, as you get that club to the top plane line, you can see your left arm does get significantly higher than where it would like to be on a textbook, quote unquote. But we take a look at the centeredness. You're still over your toes. Your head hasn't moved forward. It hasn't gone out of that box. It has gone down slightly, but it could also be a camera angle that is making it go down slightly. All in all, you're still in your spine angle. You've got a great turn. Lower body's restricting that turn, so I see a lot of X factor storing up here. Face on would definitely help me in terms of your ball position and how you are compensating around that ball position. But based on what I see, it is slightly forward of center, which is fine. And you look like you're getting the right tilting going on besides that left shoulder a little bit higher, but that's up to you to decide if you want to change. Let's see that compensation now. So if we draw the triangle, let's see the triangle check. So if we draw and look at where the path of your hands go. So the path needs to right now go straight down because you have such a vertical arm position. Does it occur? So we can see, look at that. The grip is following down. That first initial move, it is moving down. So you're definitely driving your weight down. You can see your head dropping out of that box and pulling down. And right when it gets to about shoulder height is when we start to see the butt of the club moving this direction, which is good because you've established your arms inside that slot and the club is falling in that slot, and that movement to the right is just your body turning. So far you're looking pretty good. Let's take out that triangle check. We can see that the club is slightly flat of where it needs to be. Not a big deal though. This is pretty good. Another good thing that's happening is not only are you turning, but you're pushing your weight back behind your brace line, which is ensuring that you're driving the weight correctly from the right toe to the left heel. And we can see that right toe is planted. As we strike that golf ball, we can see the club head does veer right on your plane, and you go ahead and strike it. Now watch the path of your hands. Now you would imagine that because you had a very steep upswing, your follow through would also match that and be fairly steep. But watch what happens as you strike the golf ball. As you strike the ball, your shoulder tilt is increased, but look at where the club comes out. The club comes out much lower than when it started at the top of the swing, and your hands just get to that secondary plane line where they should have been. So I do see a very good compensatory motion. However, that motion could be limiting your potential power. What we see is that weight on that left heel, which is great. You're still holding your spine angle. You're still in your posture, basically. Now, keep in mind that when your hand path moves left past impact, specifically for someone with a steeper arm path, that shows to me that the hands are releasing a little bit too much, and that club head weight, when you release it, pulls your hand path left. Now, you have to look at your misses. Do you block the ball, and do you pull the ball? Do you pull hook it? Now, if you have your misses and they do have two extremes, then I would recommend lowering your arm plane to be a little bit lower, so at least they're reaching closer to that top plane line to help your misses. But in a nutshell, this is a pretty good swing. It's pretty reliant. There's not a lot of moving parts outside of the hand position. And just as I showed the last video, here's my swing again. You can see that I've made this swing work as well. I get my hands high. Granted, not as high as you, but we find a way to make it work. I'd much rather see students go high to low than low to high. It's a lot easier to drop the club in the slot when it's high to low, as long as your body's doing the correct motion. So I do hope that helps you. I know it's not quite as detailed as you would like. Face-on view will help that. So if you can give me a face-on view at any point in time, go ahead and send me that email. But I hope this helps both of you. I hope this helps you guys and girls watching at home to maybe see something in your swing to identify that ball position, posture, setup, grip really do affect your swing. And if you don't pay attention to those and you let them do their own thing, you need to compensate to make your golf ball work correctly for you. And it's all about compensations, and it's all about cause and effects. So we have to limit our compensations and understand our cause and effects. So if you do like that, hit that like and subscribe. Really helps the channel grow. Thanks for these 2 submissions. If you have a submission you want to send, go ahead and email to me. I'll be more than happy to look at it. Hopefully see you soon. Fairways and greens.